Look, we all know the Galaxy-class Starship. The USS Enterprise-D basically made that class of starship famous. It also saw some great use during the Dominion War. Well, other than the USS Odyssey. That one didn't go down rather well. Anyway, what if we improved the Galaxy-class design and made it better? This is the Ross-class Starship, which bore a strong resemblance to the Galaxy-class, but used components and technology from the most recent Starfleet designs as of the 2400s. Welcome to Trek Central! I'm your host Captain Jack. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Engage! This video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. You've got a phone, right? Surely you do. Then you should be playing Raid Shadow Legends. Otherwise, you're missing out on this fantastic opportunity. It's free to play, you know. My favourite new faction in Raid is the mysterious Sylvan Watchers. Don't expect to walk in the park if you visit these guys. Rather than build a city, they set up their home in the Mistwood, a huge jungle. Be careful, if the beasts don't kill you, the Sylvan might for trespassing on their land. There is a city open to outsiders, Narisia, but be warned, the Sylvan have made friends with the Shadowkin and Dwarf factions. These three factions are all in the Syrian Union alliance, so keep that in mind. The Sylvan Watchers have plenty of champions, each being in tune with nature in a unique and cool way. My favourite has to be King Galabar. Look how cool that staff is. We've also got Rock and Alec, who have some fantastic looks to them. Plenty to choose from. New players, Raid has something special for you. It's time to vote on your favourite starter champion. Download Raid Shadow Legends from the links below, copy your in-game player ID, and then go to championselect.plarium.com and vote for your chosen champion. You've got till February 10th, 2023 to do this, and you'll be eligible to win some awesome in-game and real-life prizes, including epic and legendary champions. One champion to be crowned a winner. If you're currently playing Raid, you can still get involved. Head to the same link I mentioned and you'll find a special promo code for use as an in-game gift. If you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, click the link in the description or scan the QR code here on screen. You'll get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion, Chrono, 300k silver, 1 XP boost, and 1 energy refill. Oh, and 1 epic skill tone. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Available for 30 days for new players only. See you in game. Enjoy the video. In the turn of the 25th century, the Federation had a couple of ship classes which saw direct upgrades of notable ships in the 24th century. Ships such as the Miranda class got an upgrade in the form of a Reliant class, the Nebula class with the Sutherland class, and even a 23rd century design getting an upgrade, with the Shebra class going to the Gargarin class. One of the most famous ship classes in the 24th century also got this upgrade treatment in Starfleet, and that is the Galaxy-class Starship, to which the iconic USS Enterprise-D hails from. This was the new and improved Ross class. Known ships of the Ross class are the USS Ross NCC 76710, the USS Archer NCC 76725, the USS Vanguard NCC 75148, and finally the USS Yaisung Shin NCC 76545. Now, if you want to know about some of the legacy behind the names of the Archer, Vanguard, and Yaisung, we did a two-part video going over the legacy of the Picard fleet in Star Trek. Make sure to watch that if you are interested. As you would expect with a direct upgrade, the general look of a Ross class is very Galaxy, but with a few additions showing how the ship has changed in Starfleet and the Federation since the Galaxy first left the assembly line. The ship had a length of 663.2 meters, which makes it only 20 meters longer than the Galaxy, which comes in at 641 meters. These similar measurements could give us further indication as to the Ross class, with a similar crew size of around 1,000 crew and around 42 decks. The ship features your usual iconic circular saucer, rather than not going for the traditional of the late 24th century ships of elongating their saucers into oval designs. But what is different about the circular saucer is how it joins the neck. The structure, which extends from the rear of the saucer to the center of the bridge module, is extremely reminiscent of the Sovereign class, and the reinforced design extended over the rear of the saucer. This Sovereign inspiration makes sense, as the Ross class was co-developed along with the Sovereign class as an optimistic counterpart to the Sovereign's more pragmatic focus on combat performance. So similarities between the two classes do make sense. An interesting addition to the saucer is a ring of blue lights around it. What purpose these serve is unknown, but perhaps allow for the Ross class to withstand spatial anomalies better in some fashion, due to that being one of the purposes of this class. A similar strip of this can be seen on the underside of the saucer as well. The underside of the saucer section is also slightly different, with the captain's yachts present in the centre of the underside being replaced with a sensor platform, just like other Starfleet ships in the Excelsior class. The rear of the saucer would also be where the ship's main shuttle bays are located, with seemingly 5 shuttle bays, with 3 located on the rear of the saucer that overlook to them, and 2 further down the neck. The 2 further down the neck look more to be accessed from smaller auxiliary craft like worker bees. Where on most ships you usually find a shuttle bay at the rear of the ship, just like the Galaxy-class, the Ross has a torpedo launcher there, though one much larger than the Galaxy had. A more pronounced torpedo launcher can also be seen in the neck of the ship. On the underside of the ship in its secondary hull, it's keeping up some Excelsior design to the ship in a cargo bay. Whereas the saucer hadn't changed from a circular design to an oval design, the secondary hull of the Ross class has changed from an oval design to a circular design. Following the circular deflector dish on the Sovereign class, the Ross is similar, with a large yellow deflector instead of the oval blue one we typically see on the Galaxy. This change impacts the overall shape of the secondary hull, to fit this new deflector, but still retaining somewhat the same silhouette as the Galaxy class, so everything curves towards a central circular dish in the centre. One of the biggest departures from the Galaxy class is with the nacelle pylons. The nacelles themselves are almost one-to-one with the Galaxy class, but the pylons interestingly sweep backwards from the secondary hull, adding an interesting curve to them before coming back to the nacelle itself. In terms of the interior, the Ross class features state-of-the-art diplomatic facilities for first contact missions. As we said, complementing the Sovereign class's more combat focus. What qualifies as state-of-the-art diplomatic facilities is anyone's guess. Maybe a Tongo table or something? How the rest of the interior might compare to the interior of the Galaxy class is not known, as we haven't seen the interior. But being a more modern ship, and taking design inspiration from the Sovereign class, I could imagine the interior of a Ross being more Sovereign than Galaxy in design. Let's just hope it didn't come out all looking very sovereignly. We know how that goes down as Starfleet captains.
Sovereign class.
The prototype of this class would pioneer many advanced technologies that would go on to become standard on Starfleet ships in the 25th century. Such included quantum slipstream and transwarp capabilities, though whether such technology is present on all starships of this class is unknown. The standard ship of the Ross class could reach warp speeds of 9.9, a standard for vessels at the time, but at least put it faster over its predecessor, the Galaxy class, which could only maintain warp 9.6 for a couple of hours, and warp 9.8 being its theoretically highest warp factor.
It's called a warp
9.8
engine. On paper.
As a ship built in the late 24th and early 25th century, the ship would have your standard offensive and defensive capabilities, with photon and quantum torpedoes, phaser arrays, and deflector shields. Whether the ship would have special technologies, however, is not known yet. The Galaxy class would be well known for its ability to separate its saucer, so whether the Ross had the same ability is probably likely. Although considering the Galaxy class only required the saucer to separate thrice, it could not have been seen as necessary. An interesting special capability of the class, however, and was at least installed in one of the prototype of the class, which was the USS Ross, was an experimental holographic command core, also known as the EXEO, which would serve as the ship's first officer and would continue Starfleet's experience with artificial life forms as crew. This was essentially a long-term version of the emergency command hologram system, developed by the crew of the USS Voyager, something which Starfleet had experimented with in the form of the emergency medical hologram. And as we know, they would also experiment with the LMH, a long-term medical hologram in 2373. The prototype of the USS Ross seemed to be created in the year 2381, and developed based on technical modifications made to the Galaxy class, USS Enterprise-D, by Commanders George LaForge and Data. We say seemingly, because whether this was the case in canon is not 100% confirmed as of yet. What is known, however, is that the USS Ross is a prototype of the class, hence having the same name as the ship class, and this vessel would serve with a distinction in the Shackleton Expanse. The Expanse was a largely unexplored area of space near Federation and Romulan space, and was filled with numerous spatial anomalies, making it dangerous for space travel. The USS Ross, being built for such exploration, could deal with the anomalies that lay within the Expanse very easily. It is also said that when the Borg were first discovered by Starfleet, before and after the first contact between the Enterprise-D and a Borg cube, the Shackleton Expanse was investigated for a defense against the Borg. Now, while the ship may go on its mission into the Shackleton Expanse, really, that was all we know of the ship's story in the 24th century. However, in the 25th century, along with other ships of its class and more, the USS Ross would be part of a fleet sent to investigate a Borg anomaly in 2401. After Admiral Picard would deal with some Temporal Q shenanigans, the fleet with the aid of a new Borg collective ship, the Singularity, would protect the sector from the energy shunt of a transwarp Condor by combining their shield harmonics. Okay, some behind the scenes information. Some of you might think the Ross class is named after Admiral William Ross. This was the Starfleet admiral who coordinated part of the Dominion War in Deep Space Nine. That's not actually the case. It's actually named after Mary G. Ross, who is the first known Native American female engineer. The Ross class was designed by Thomas Maroney for Star Trek Online and introduced to the game in 2020 as a part of the game's 10th anniversary. However, the ship was developed in collaboration with the Steampunks RPG group for their Star Trek Adventure tabletop role-playing game campaign, Clear Skies. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.